So hello and welcome to ATTA. So today we're listening to Carla from I.T.C Sudan, who's going to take us through some of the wonders of this often unknown destination. I.T.C Sudan has been in operation for 20 years and have been a proud ATTA member for the last 12 years. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Carla. Carla, over to you.
Thank you, Chris, and welcome to everybody listening to this. Well, I will take this opportunity to take you through a journey across one of the less known African countries. First of all, apology for my accent. I am Italian, but I work in Sudan for the past 20 years. So first of all, I.T.C stands for Italian Tourist Company Sudan. It's an Italian investment dated back to the beginning of 2000. We're based in Khartoum, but we also own our own properties in the north, which I will show you in this presentation. So let us start the journey in Sudan. So this is a map. Khartoum is the capital, and that's where the two mighty river Niles meet. The Blue Nile and the White Nile meets in Khartoum, and in the Sudan part, the Nile River makes an unusual bend on its way to Egypt and to the Mediterranean Sea. So the Nile River, it is the life in a desert country. And all along the Nile River, there are temples, pyramids, villages. Well, actually, very few people know that there are more pyramids in Sudan than in Egypt. So why visit Sudan? Archaeology, lots of it. Unspoiled environment. Yes, really, there's very few travelers that comes across this African country. And most important, warm and genuine people. Yes, really, they're untouched by tourism. They're gentle and kind by nature. When you walk through Sudan, through markets or villages and even the cities, all you hear from the locals is an Arabic word, marhab, which means welcome. Well, that really makes the country special. So let us start our journey from the capital, Khartoum, where we can visit the mausoleum of a local hero, the Mahdi, who actually has a long story with the British Army, with General Gordon, Kitchener. So we start talking about the most recent history of Sudan, the colonial time. But then we continue with the National Museum, where there are full Egyptian temples moved from the north, from the Nasser Lake area of Sudan, down to Khartoum, and they've been rebuilt there. Yes, because Sudan was actually a colony of Egypt from the 15th century BC until the 7th century, where actually the Sudanese kings ruled over Egypt before becoming independent again and start their own civilization. So it's not just a visual tour, it's also an historical tour that I'm taking you through. But let's go back to the Nile. Here is the meeting point of the Blue and the White Nile. Well, let us say that one Nile is darker and the other one is lighter, but to stand right in the point, which is called Mugram Peninsula, where the two Niles meet, it is something absolutely special. The markets, the people, and some events that happened in Khartoum. So most of our tours are timed in a way that we can also see the dervish ceremony on Fridays only. And the ceremony, it's just a large gathering of Sufi people chanting all together. It's very African with drums and incense. Nothing is done for tourists in Sudan. This is a true event. Tourists are welcome to witness it. And this is a little bit the spirit of the country, absolutely genuine. And then the Nuba wrestling. Nuba is a tribe in the south of Khartoum, the Kordofan region. There's so many migrants from the region, and they do this sort of Greek-Roman fight 3 times a week. It's a small stadium on the outskirts of Khartoum North, and it's so nice to go and witness this peaceful sport. Then our journey takes us to the UNESCO site of Jebel Barkal. So we are about 400 kilometers north of the capital in the desert. Here there is a lonely mountain with this unique pinnacle that you can see on the left-hand side of the mountain. Well, according to the ancient Egyptian, this was the holy house of the god Amun. And since 1500 BC and the great new kingdom of Egypt, this became like the most important religious point in Sudan, keeping connected with Thebes or Karnak in Egypt. So here we have a number of temples, either inside the mountain, like the one we're seeing now, dedicated to the goddess Mut, the holy wife of the god Amun, and many other temples and tombs, like the necropolis of El Kurru that we are watching now. Here is the tomb of Tawin Tamani, the last Black Pharaoh king, a Sudanese king of the 25th dynasty of Egypt. As said, there are a number of pyramids in Sudan, and now we are looking at the necropolis of Nuri. Here, most of the descendants of the 25th dynasty, and only one pharaoh, the great Taharqa, are buried. We're talking nearly 100 pyramids just in this necropolis of Nuri, which has recently been excavated by some American archaeologists, and they are discovering incredible tombs which are actually flooded with water. So really interesting, because archaeology is still very much a living thing in Sudan. Archaeologists come out every winter to dig in many different sites. But Sudan was also Christian until the 15th century AD. So here is the ruins of one of the 3 Christian kingdoms in Sudan, the ancient kingdom of Makuria, now known as Old Dongola. A little bit further north, we go to Kerma, and these statues of the Black Pharaohs were only found in 2003. Imagine that. When I say living archaeologists, this is really the proof of it. The cataract of the Nile. This is the 3rd cataract, the largest still untouched by dams. So the 3rd cataract is a natural obstacle that prevented the Egyptians from colonizing Sudan. And for this reason, they could only colonize Sudan very late in time during the New Kingdom. It's very difficult to navigate across rapids and islands. Finally, the Egyptians were able to do that, and so they colonized Sudan. The Temple of Soleb. Here we are, exactly halfway between the 2 main religious centers at the time. So Karima, Napata in Sudan, and Thebes or Karnak, the actual Luxor in Egypt. Amenoph III, the father of Akhenaton, the grandfather of Amon, built this temple to celebrate his 30th year of reign, the Jubilee of the time. So we're quite far north, near the Egyptian border here. All along the journey, we'll have the opportunity to stop and meet very friendly Nubian people. Some of the villages' houses are painted, but independently from the colors of the house, what really will strike us is the welcoming feeling from the people. As you can tell, Sudan is a Muslim country, but the ladies are all showing their face. It's very rare to see burqa. They're quite open, although they are very religious. And as a woman traveling in Sudan, I'm never requested to cover my hair. Just a normal, decent wearing, you know, short sleeves, long trousers will be fine. And here we are, to the most iconic point of Sudan. Again, UNESCO protected. This is the necropolis of Meroe. There is 44 pyramids still standing in these two necropolis, the north and the south. This is a total African civilization. The Meroitic developed after the Egyptian lost power in Sudan. So let us say that from the 3rd century BC until the 4th century AD, more than 700 years, a local kingdom kept on building pyramids well after the Egyptians stopped doing that. These are smaller pyramids, all facing east, but very large in number. Best seen at sunrise and sunset. As you can tell from these images, it is striking that you can have the site all by yourself. It is very rare to meet other people during the visit to any archaeological site in Sudan. On the way back to Khartoum, there's more traces of the Meroitic civilization. Here we can clearly see that it's a mix of Roman, Greek, and of course Egyptian architecture, but of course we are in Sudan, so it's a local architecture built by the Meroitic just 2,000 years ago. Elephants were raised here. They were sold together with the lions to the circus in Rome. So Sudan has always been an economical corridor between Central Africa and the Mediterranean civilization, thanks to the River Nile. But now we are in the desert. All of a sudden, we are brought back in time where people still live a very traditional lifestyle. This is a traditional well, and people fetch water for their animals, normally goats and camels. Bridges have been built since 2007 in some key points on the Nile, but still there's a lot of river crossing on a traditional ferry boat. And the deserts. There are 3 deserts in Sudan. All of them have got different features, from sand to rocks and volcanic remains. Expeditions in the desert is still possible in Sudan for people that love sleeping in tents and just get away from everything that we know of. Sudan also has the most amazing sea. We're talking the Red Sea. It is unspoiled and still not really ready to welcome a large number of tourists. There's no resort, there's not even beaches, but there are a few boats that we can organize and take you out on this incredible reef. What we're seeing now is the tallest lighthouse in the Red Sea, is Sanganeb, and the reef surrounding it is just spectacular. There's been recent discoveries of petroglyphs in the eastern desert of Sudan. What we're seeing now, this is along the Nile, this is Wadi Sebu, but there are many areas in Sudan still to be discovered with large number of prehistoric petroglyphs. And this is our office. Now the office is closed, of course, but we are working from home. But this is the house and office and our cars. It is a 4x4 journeys. We have Land Cruiser and Toyota Hilux with very professional drivers. And as I said at the beginning, we also built our own properties. 20 years ago, we wanted to do things right. There were no accommodation. We built them. So this is Karima, 22 ensuite rooms at the Nubian Rest House, with this unique dome. and traditional and local material, such as the door and the building material. It's all local. It's really peaceful. And walking distance to the Jebel Barkal, we are protected by the god Amun. All twin-bedded, and the amazing cupola. Near the pyramids of Meroe, we have something more temporary. We have this fixed camp with 22 tents. All of them has got his own private showers and toilet behind the tent, all twin-bedded, and very important, all the tents overlook the pyramids of Meroe. We are upgrading the Meroe Camp. This is the new restaurant that will be open next October 2020. And we are working on building the bungalows, which will be en suite, of course, but this is going to be another couple of years for them to be ready. Further north, to visit Saleb, to reach Egypt, yes, because we can also combine Sudan and Egypt. We have this temporary experiential camp. These are South African tents. We imported them and selected this incredible location. It is sharing facilities, sharing showers and toilet. The location is incredible. There are camp beds inside. It's comfortable enough to spend 1 or 2 nights here, either on the way to Egypt or to see the incredible sights in the north. We can organize special events, private sundown. Of course, there is no alcohol in Sudan, sorry. It's also a detox experience, but we have lots of food and very nice fresh juices for our sundowners. In Khartoum, we cooperate with a number of hotels, especially the 5-star hotel, Corinthia Hotel, modern architecture, or the Colonial Hotel, 4-star Grand Holiday Villa. Both hotels are on the Blue Nile. And also we work with the Acropole Hotel, which is the cleanest hotel in town, although very simple and rated 3 stars. Our incredible guides, just to mention a few, all of them speak English, and some of them speak second languages. We can cover with Sudanese guide English, Spanish, Italian, and French. The guide in the middle, the one looking at the Nile with the Nile on the backdrop, unfortunately, we lost him as a guide because he has been appointed the curator of Museum and Antiquities of Sudan. It's such a great honor that one of our leading guide is in such an important position for the new Sudan. And also we have a lady guide, which is very good in a Muslim country, Diva, fantastic guide. We work closely also with an NGO called Friends of Sudan, and we are helping some schools near the archaeological sites. So part of our income will be donated to school projects. We have the opportunity to visit the schools that we are supporting during the trip, because we are helping with education, the developing of this amazing country. We look forward to welcome you to Sudan. If you have any questions, please send an email to ATTA, and I'll be very happy to answer. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Carla, and thank you for taking us on a wonderful journey through Sudan. Just one question from me is, do you operate all year round, or is your operational seasonal?
Oh, thank you. Great question. Yes, we operate all year round. However, we suggest the travelers to come to Sudan between October and April. During the summer months, it is too hot and there can be some rain in Khartoum. So our Meroe Camp, for example, will be closed between May and September. And so is the preset camp in the north. Thank you, Chris. Good question.
Great. Thank you, Carla. Thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again somewhere soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.